What's happening, y'all? I'm Down South 77. Welcome back to 3-Star Draw, an adult collector channel where we talk G.I. Joe, primarily classified. Once in a while, I'll take a look at some other stuff that I am interested in, like to bring you guys along, show you other stuff I like as well. Today, though, is G.I. Joe. It's G.I. Joe Day. Well, yesterday was G.I. Joe Day because, surprisingly enough, Hasbro actually shipped out this newest wave of classified before the other place that I had it ordered from, which is very strange because said other place, the last wave, shipped them all over 2 weeks before Hasbro did. So I don't know. Maybe they're finally getting on the ball and fixing some of these issues and tightening it up. I doubt it, but we can always be hopeful, right? Anyway, I did not pay the impatience tax on all of these figures other than Xandar. I got him early. If you hadn't checked that review out, I recommend going to check it out because it's rather interesting, my experience with that figure. Very good figure, though. But we're not here to talk about Xandar. We're here to talk about 148, Leatherneck. So I think this guy looks really good. I was never the hugest Leatherneck fan. Now, don't get me wrong. I like Leatherneck just fine. I always really enjoyed he and Wetsuit's rivalry in the cartoon.
Next time we're in combat, Leatherneck, remind me to get right in front of you. That'll be the safest place.
I think this figure looks great from what I've seen so far. He was just never like a top tier character for me. I wasn't a Marine either. I know a couple Marine collectors that have really been looking forward to this guy, and I'm glad they're finally getting him. Hell, I'm glad I finally got him. Excited to get him on the shelf and get him in the collection. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at him. We'll take a look at him in the box here before we get him out. See how he is packaged. I love this artwork right here with the pistol and the knife like it's coming right at you, like it is the box art cover for Friday the 13th, Part 3 3D. Back here, you get this nice picture of him. Got his glasses on, and these look like they're a little bit darker than the ones he actually comes with. Little action shot, got Dial Tone back in the background, who you will be seeing a review on someday. And then this crashed, it looks like the Cobra mothership. I don't know if it was ever determined what that's supposed to be, but then you got his rank up here. And then you have, I guess, whatever his unit patch is, which is really cool. Kind of looks like a hazmat. And over here, got your QR codes, got your attributes, and that is that. Sliding the tray out of the box, that is how he is packaged. Got his knife over there taped in, got his pistol, and don't forget about the shooting glasses up there in the top. His hat, his cover, I will probably refer to that as a hat through the whole thing, does come packaged on him. So as you can see, I do have some other figures out for comparison. Got his fellow Marines here, and I got Tunnel Rat because Leatherneck is apparently a very short figure, and then I got a Saw Viper because I wanted to compare something with them, and he was already sitting here, so why not? So I do have over here the first appearance of Wendell A. Metzger from Stromsburg, Nebraska. Is in issue 49. This is, of course, the issue where we first see Serpentor there at the end. And this little panel right here on page 13 is first time we see Leatherneck. He's right there. He's on the assault team, and he doesn't have a huge role in this book, but he is in it. So if you were wondering about the first appearance, that is it. All right, let's get into it here. Actually, let's turn some more light on, and then we'll get into it here. That's better. So we do have his backpack here. I believe same one that comes with Recondo is what I have seen other folks say. Looks pretty good. They did paint his bedroll green up here, and does have the brown straps holding it down. It is all made together, of course. This thing looks really good, though, rolled up like this. Would have been nice if they hit the cantina maybe with some cantina. That's another property. Canteen down here with some green, but I'm not really complaining. I'm just glad that they did hit something with some different colors on here. So it looks like a pretty long backpack peg, which is what these guys need, and they're finally starting to do it for us. It does come with a pair of punching fists. I think we've seen these a few times by now, but this is definitely a guy that does need some punching fists. There is his cover right there. Looks pretty good. I don't know how accurate this is to an actual Marine cover. Looks good to me, but I'm also not a Marine. Does have the what G.I. Joe is using for the Marine sigil there on it. Real similar to what Gung Ho has tattooed on his chest, and you couldn't see that. So I almost missed that because of the camo on the hat. Looks good enough for me. Does come with a pretty decent looking knife, and it is actually kind of pointy for a classified knife. Got your serrated end, and got the nice silver metallic paint that I like so much. So this is a good looking knife. This is probably one of the better knives. Good looking combat knife. Now he does have this pistol, and I thought this was the same pistol that the Saw Viper came with. That's another reason I had Saw Viper out, but it is not. This is Leatherneck's and this is Saw Viper's. So two completely separate pistols. And I also missed the fact that it looks like Saw Viper's has a laser mounted on the bottom as well as the compensator. So different pistol. Both new pistols. Get the optic here with Leatherneck as well. Does have a little bit of an extended mag, not quite as much as the Saw Viper has on his. This thing does look pretty bland. I mean, the shape of it and everything is nice. Port for blast effects there. So it's just kind of, at least it's a new pistol, but it is kind of a basic pistol. And then we do have what is passing for his traditional gun that we all love so much. M16 with the grenade launcher underbarrel. This is okay. I mean, I don't know why they couldn't just have made that gun. It's pretty straight. Barrel's got a little bit of bend to the left, but it's not really too noticeable. And it is a pretty rigid plastic. Now, overall, this is a pretty decent looking weapon. I'm not going to complain too much about it. I just don't see why they couldn't have given us the original one if they're going to go through the trouble to put the underbarrel on it for the grenade launcher. Do have a blast effect port in both there. And this is, we've already kind of got one of these with Valkyries, and Metalhead had it. I almost said Metal Gear. Metalhead has it. This is a bigger version. That weapon was undersized for Metalhead. It's just right for the Valkyries, but so this is what we got. I don't hate it. It looks okay. I just wish they could have done the one that we want to see. Does have back here on the buttstock, it's got a pouch like that. It's probably for spare magazine or something. Balance the weight. I don't know. It's not what I wanted, but I don't mind it. Removable magazine there. And then we do have his shooting glasses that are a clear tinted plastic. Some ballistic eyewear, whatever. They look good. We'll see how they fit on him. I've heard that these actually fit pretty well. So let's take a look at the man himself. So first thing I want to see is how loose is the torso, because there seems to be a case of the loose torsos going around. Not too bad, not super bad, but it is a little wobbly there. So let's take a look at him. I do like how he kind of has this shading around his eyes, like he's been up, and we started seeing that with low light. And it makes a lot of sense for low light with his lore, and I guess that you could make out that he has been, up marching or fighting or whatever for several days. So looks good. He's got the stash. He's got the hair, kind of receding hairline there. Hair looks pretty good. It's not the best we've seen, but does have some sculpt there. Paint on it looks good all the way around. And mine does have a little mark there on his face. I haven't noticed other people say that, so I don't know if that's paint or if that's supposed to be there. So I guess that is something I need to go back and check for. Got his rank in gold there. He is a gunnery sergeant. I've heard that this is not exactly accurate, but again, I'm not entirely sure either. So since I don't really know the ranks, looks fine to me. And then over here you have his unit patch that I showed you a minute ago. So down here, he's got the radio. I dig this. The radio on his leg. Is that, okay, so the antenna is bent in a little bit. I think these types of radios do have bendable antennas though, so it is very flimsy, but I think that it is meant to be. And then over here, he does have perhaps a Leatherman, a multi-tool, or maybe that is another pistol magazine. It's probably supposed to be a pistol magazine, but I do like all of this drop-down web gear stuff he's got. Got a paracord here. I think that's supposed to be paracord, like a bungee cord to clip extra stuff to him. I believe that's what that is. And then he does have the holster that is attached to the web gear and does have the thigh part of it. So I think he looks really good overall. Tack vest, got the green padding up here, green padding in the back. The zipper, you can actually see the detail in the zipper. Would have been cool if they painted the top of the zipper and maybe put a little YKK on it, I don't know. I think this does look really good. Got a couple molded in black grenades here. I like that it breaks all of this up. I like that they did the clasps here to tighten it up in green. Same green as the padding, the zipper, all of that. So I think he looks really good out of the package. Camo looks good on the knees. He does have knee pads. Kind of makes sense for him to have some knee pads. So let's go ahead and see how he moves. Elbows are a little bit stiff. That bottom part of that one is really stiff. So we're going to wait on that one. So the right one moves pretty good. Let's check his knees. Did not heat this guy up. He's been in my house for, been here for 2 days. A little bit of, I don't know if that's sprue or, I don't know what's going on right there exactly with that. You see that? So this part of this knee pad here just broke when I bent that. So I don't know if that was connected together. So his knee actually just broke. Now this was pretty brittle moving it, but it don't seem like that is a piece that should break. So his knee is loose. All right, see what happens on this one. Did not have that issue there. Don't have it over here. So the back of his knee, right there, just cracked. Interesting. That almost seems like that was fused together. I don't think the actual joint itself, well, maybe it did. Man, I don't know. I mean, it still moves okay. I'll have to take another look at that. So let's see if we can get this to move without heating him up. I think I'm gonna, oh, there we go. Got it to break free. It was right on the verge of, let's heat that up. Some really, really tight joints on this guy. So he looks pretty good. Drop down hips. Pop back up in there. Ankles, does have ankle swivel. Got your rockers. See how he stands up. Seems to stand pretty well, so of course I am happy with that. Then over here he does have his silver bracelet. Now the Real American Hero figure had this too, so be careful with this. I've seen a couple people post they got this and it was loose in the package, so if your Leatherneck does not have this on there, you might want to double check your packaging, assuming you haven't thrown it away. This is either one of two things. This is one of the bracelets that people wear for pain, joint pain, or Bobby B mentioned in his review that he thinks this might be a KIA bracelet, a memorial bracelet for a fallen trooper, except they are usually flat, and this one does have the beaded ends, so I don't know what it is supposed to be. It's one of the two, I'm sure, but it is on there. Does look pretty good. Not a lot to it. The mine does have a little divot there on it. See that? So That makes me think maybe this is a KIA bracelet with this little divot on here. Maybe that is where it's engraved. I'm not sure, but just be aware. And then we do have his wristwatch over here. 1900 hours on the wristwatch. It looks good. Now, if you change the fists, change the hands, these things are definitely coming off, so you will want to be careful with that. Main thing I'm curious about right now is how well do these fit on. Now that's how you do glasses. These are not flimsy at all. Boy, this is the best set of glasses that Hasbro's made for classified figure. This is how to do it. Got the little gap there above his ear. They fit right on there. Hat goes on. You don't even need the hat to hold them on. No problem with any of that coming loose. I'm really happy with that. How could you not be? That looks great. Let's check him out with this pistol, and I'm pretty sure the plastic in these hands is going to be pretty rigid. They've gone all out with harder plastic. That's actually better than most of the most recent ones I've done right there. So pretty good pistol pose. He does have the swivel in the wrist peg. You don't get much out of it, but you know, if you're doing pictures or something, might make a difference. I like that pistol. It's pretty plain, but he does look good holding it. And put it in the holster here. Does have the spot here for the optic. So that goes in pretty nice. Let's check out the knife. That's not a knife. That's a knife. So you might actually be able to get him in a similar pose as the back, or the, not the back, but the side art, where he's got the pistol and the knife, like he's getting ready to clear a room or a trench or something. And we'll see how it fits in here, because these upside down sheaths don't always work great. But that one goes in there. It's not going anywhere. Where are you going? Nowhere. That looks pretty nice. Let's go ahead and throw his backpack on, see how that sits. Line that up with the vest and the back peg. And a little more room in there than what I like to see. But I don't feel, do I have that? Yeah, I got that lined up. So it's not going to fall out. I wish it fit a little more flush, but it's not falling out. So that's your main concern, and it does not ride too high like the back peg on some of these guys do. Make them really top heavy. He stands pretty well with that on there. So so far I'm pretty happy with this figure. Go ahead and see if we can get his almost right but not quite right weapon in there. I think that trigger finger is going to give me a little trouble on this one. They usually do. I might have spoke too soon with the pistol. So knock the bracelet off. You see that? So I'm going to set it over there for just a minute. I'm going to hit that with a little bit of heat real quick just to speed this along. And we'll get it in his hands. Got that heated up. Leatherneck has a very, very long trigger finger. I just thought I'd point that out. So I had heated that up and had to move that around pretty good. So while I was doing that, I did notice one thing. Leatherneck has some amazing butterfly joints. I mean, man, that's like, he can almost, even with this overlay, you can actually get him into a pose way easier than you can most of these guys. Haven't actually tried putting it up and putting it on his shoulder yet, but just shooting from the hip there, and you will actually be able to get this hand on it. Now this grenade launcher, this undermount here, this thing is pretty big around, so if you do heat this, and you're either going to heat these fingers or you're going to break them trying to get them around this, but it is going to warp them. I mean, they should go back once you remove that pose, but if you do, then you might be able to get him where he's holding the magazine, maybe like that. But just, he can do it, which is funny. They finally make a figure that is really easy to get into a pose like this, and then they give you an underbarrel that is so big it's going to warp their fingers. But it'll go back, so just in case. So there he is holding that weapon. I think it looks pretty good. I mean, overall, a lot of people don't like it. I don't mind it. I do wish it was something else, but it is what it is. Again, I showed you the bracelet did come off. That might be a bit of a problem with him. So let's go ahead and we'll throw on one of the punching hands here. Watch the watch. And they're doing a lot of these watches and armbands and things. And I mean, it's cool that they do it. They're the pieces that are going to get lost big time, but they do it so you can slide it down and hide that articulation point. So when the watch is down, obviously you can't see it. So this is one guy that does need this punching pose or this punching hand, especially when we get wetsuit. I'm looking forward to all of the pictures that we're going to see with him in wetsuit fighting. I did hit him with some heat and kind of worked the joints around a little bit while I was heating up that trigger finger. If yours is like mine, he did benefit from it. I don't usually heat these guys up unless I have to. All of them have been in the house for a little bit. And back to this back here, I was looking at it again and I worked this knee some more. And I think this was just fused to the bottom part of the leg. And so that's what it looks like after working it around. It doesn't look like it really did anything that's going to cause him a problem posing, but I'm not real happy about that. I may contact Hasbro over this and try to get him replaced. So I don't know. I don't feel like this was tight enough. It was tight, but it wasn't tight enough to snap this unless something I think was fused back there. So I don't know. We'll see. But he does actually pose, man. He can stand really well. So that's what I need from more of these figures. He's really easy to stand, even when you throw the backpack on him. So he does stand up really nicely. And he does not have the hinged neck. But you can get a little bit of range of motion looking up and looking down, but I think this really should be more with these guys. Now, let's see. Let's put his glasses on. And I've seen some pictures already of him, like, with the glasses, like he's putting them on and whatnot. So I think he looks really good overall. I'm really pleased with that hat and those glasses. And let's see how easy that slips back on there. This may be, if you move your figures around a lot or do a lot with them, take them down, this might be something that you want to bag up and put back on just when you get him where he's going, because I think this thing, with it not being a solid band like the watch is, this piece is going to be worth money one day. If any of these classified figures, if anything on these guys are worth money, this little silver band probably will be. So just take note. So let's check him out besides Sarge. So you can see the height difference there. Sarge is quite a bit taller than he is. Come on, I just talked you up about your ability to stand. Sarge is quite a bit bigger. Gung Ho somehow is a little bit taller than Sarge with the hat. I've never actually put them two right beside each other, but these guys almost look like they're from entirely different toy lines with their height difference. These guys look like, I was going to say wrestlers while I point at Sergeant Slaughter, but they look like wrestling figures next to Leatherneck. So I'll move Gung Ho, who's probably going to fall because Gung Ho doesn't like to stand up. So let's check him out beside Tunnel Rat. They're real similar in size. Tunnel Rat does look to be even a little bit shorter than Leatherneck is. So now let's check him out with Saw Viper, because I haven't really put Saw Viper up beside anybody, because Saw Viper is a little bit shorter as well. Looks like he is close or maybe just a little bit taller than Leatherneck. It's hard for me to tell from here. Move him back, see if I can tell anything. Looks like he might even be a little shorter than Leatherneck. So I don't mind. Again, some people are really kind of up in arms because he's so short. Just because he is a sergeant, that doesn't mean that he has to be super tall. Probably means he's a whole lot tougher. So there is Leatherneck. This is a really good figure, you guys. I highly recommend picking Leatherneck up. He is definitely worth the wait for everybody that has been really looking forward to this figure. I'm very, very happy with this guy. I am not happy that part of him broke as soon as I got him out, but the figure overall is great. I'll probably call Hasbro and see what they have to say about that. Just because I don't like knowingly having broken pieces. So we'll see what I do. But the figure itself, I think this was just a defect in this figure. And I didn't heat it up, but I don't feel like that was enough pressure that I should have had to with him. So Leatherneck is easily a 4.25 Yeehaws. He's better than Saw Viper. Do I like him as much as I like Xandar? No, but I'm also a massive Dreadnought fan, and he does not have the level of detail that Xandar has, of course. Well, your bullets fell out. Yeah, you just stay down there. So, Leatherneck, overall, definitely check him out. He's a good figure, and that is all I have to say about that. I will see you guys next time on 3-Star Draw.
Pathetic! I've got an arthritic grandmother who can beat the whole lot of you!
Talk's cheap, Sergeant Slaughter.
If you're so blasted tough, why don't you prove it?